Hello everyone. Today we are excited to welcome you to the first webinar of Alberta Aerospace Fusion. This is a new province-wide workforce initiative designed to address one of the Alberta's most pressing aviation challenges, that is labor shortage. With the support from Government of Alberta, this program is being led by the Alberta Aviation and Aerospace Council in collaboration with Alberta Aviation Future Alliance, which is a strategic partnership between our very own Elevate Aviation, Careers NextGen, and CCAA, which is Canadian Council for Aviation and Aerospace. So what's the goal? The goal is to build Alberta's aviation talent pipeline through training, internships, and career exposure, especially for the youth, women, and indigenous communities, along with all the underrepresented groups in Alberta. So let's look at the bigger picture. Transport Canada forecasts a national shortfall of 42,000 to 55,000 aviation workers by 2035. And by 2025, we will need 7,300 pilots and 5,300 AMEs, which is aircraft maintenance engineers. But only 1,200 pilots and 600 AMEs are graduating each year on an average across Canada. So there is the gap, and that gap is already affecting Alberta's aviation and aerospace sector. The industry has unique barriers as well, from technical terminologies to strict safety regulations. These can make it really hard for the newcomers to step in, even when the demand is high. So that's exactly what Alberta Aerospace Fusion aims to change. Today we have Nicole Holinati, who is the Vice Chair of Alberta Aviation and Aerospace Council. We have Christine Merrick, Director of Elevate Aviation Learning Center, and we have Shane McKay, Regional Manager of Careers NextGen. They will share how this program will close workforce gaps, remove barriers, and open real career pathways in Alberta's aviation and aerospace sector. Now I'll just pass the presentation to Christine Merrick, who is the Director of Elevate Aviation Learning Center. And here is the video to kick it off.
Are you ready to take flight? Are you ready to soar? Every plane that's in the air was raised by hundreds of people. People who are just like you. People who have learned the skills to succeed. People who set their goals and know how to accomplish them. It takes people with a desire to explore, to find what they're seeking, with a desire to discover, to learn, to make it happen. People who lift each other over barriers and into the air. There's so many routes, so many journeys. Start your journey today at Elevate Aviation Learning Center. This is where you get off the ground and begin to soar.
Hi everyone, thanks Vibhav for the introduction. Again, my name is Christine Merrick. I am the Director of the Elevate Aviation Learning Center, which is based here in Edmonton, Alberta. A little bit about who we are. Our mission is to provide a platform for women and underrepresented groups to thrive and succeed through careers in aviation. And we do this through a number of ways, but we are really based on four main pillars. So with Elevate Aviation Learning Center, we do have a kindergarten to career approach. We do want to spark that interest in aviation starting from kindergarten and going all the way up until people are ready to advance their careers. So we start with our Junior Jets program where we have a in-class session to engage with kids as young as kindergarten going all the way up to grade 5. This curriculum is all built around the Alberta curriculum as well. So if we're talking about language arts, we will go in and teach them the phonetic alphabet. If we're talking about math and sciences, we'll talk about the theory of flight or how drones operate. It really is geared to sparking that interest in aviation and knowing that these careers are accessible and an option if they choose to go into aviation. Next, we go into the older grades, which is our Aviation Career Exploration Program. This targets kids a little bit more older from, let's say, grade 5 all the way up until grade 12. This is a week-long immersive field trip in the aviation community where students get to see it, hear it, feel it, touch it. They really, really get that immersive learning experience and learn all about the different careers in aviation. This is also supported by our aviation partners, again, to help the youth know about all these different careers in aviation that are available to them. Finally, we move on to our aviation readiness training program. This is where we engage the adults who are now ready to enter into the world of aviation and start their careers. So it really is addressing a variety of on-demand jobs that the aviation industry is in need of. So our graduates not only learn skills for employment, they also come out with work-ready certifications that they need to kind of jumpstart those careers. So we've been running our aviation readiness training programs for adults since 2022 at the Elevate Aviation Learning Center in Edmonton. The statistics kind of speak for themselves. We've had just about 400 students come through our programs, and the one big resounding result is the impact that we see that we're having on the aviation industry. So not only do we have a very high graduation rate of 98%, but we're also seeing those transitions into employment and our learners finding success through these careers once they complete their program. We also have learners who have come through our programs and decided that they want to move on to further education as well. So the numbers speak for themselves, but the impact that we are trying to have on the industry is exactly what our programs are designed to do. Finally, what we're here to talk about today is our basic program, or our Building Aviation Skills and Industry Competency. This program is designed to give a high-level overview of 4 separate careers in aviation. So we will focus on air traffic management, looking at careers within NAV Canada. What is it like to be an IFR controller? What is it like to be a VFR controller? What is it like to work as a flight service specialist? We also look at customer service agent, flight attendant. What are the skills needed in order to be successful in these careers? We also focus on aircraft maintenance engineer and ramp services. So in alignment with these separate careers, we also focus on those employment standards as well. So those foundational aviation skills training, as well as what does it take to find a job? What does it take to keep a job? So those effective factors, communication skills, digital literacy, confidence skills. So we want to ensure that our learners, when they leave our programs, are equipped to be successful in the industry. So they will spend 5 weeks in class learning this theory with us specifically, or 125 hours. And then there's also the 3-week internship as well with careers, which Shane will speak more about next.
Growing up, I was never around aviation at all, but I also never considered aviation as a career. And I think that if you look at that when you're young and you look at what happens around you, you get what's in your bubble.
My job especially was very interesting because it wasn't very confined to one specific job. I got to overlap into many other jobs. So I worked under Nicole, and in doing that, we basically, if there was an incident on the plane, for instance, or something went missing or something broke, we would have to interview people to find out what happened. It's basically like an investigation. You're an investigator. You're mini Sherlock Holmes for an airplane, basically. Additionally, I got to work a little bit on inventory.
I think that the hard thing is that if you don't see that or get to experience it, it's not an avenue you even consider because you don't know. And I think that the opportunity for careers and bringing in some extremely talented youth to see what happens in aviation and see the moving pieces, because there's 400 million careers that they have no idea exist. It was a big no-brainer on my side that having youth have that opportunity will change their lives.
I learned a lot about how to communicate with people you haven't necessarily talked to, how to communicate professionally with people. You don't want to go into a job and it be your very first time experiencing the workplace. What if you end up not liking it? What are you going to do then? It can be a very hard route from there. With Nicole, she made it very obvious to me that heavy aero is a different place. And I think it's really cool to have female role models in a male-dominated industry because it shows you how the perspective of your life is going in this career.
At the end of the day, our industry needs people, and it needs engagement coming up through the generations. If we need youth to think of aviation as a career, having the ability to say, oh yeah, my dad's a pilot, I want to be a pilot. that's great, but what about everybody else that actually could have really amazing opportunities? And I know that we have always the best intentions, especially as parents, you have the best intentions of giving the best opportunities to your kids, but those opportunities are as narrow as you are, because you only know a certain part. So I think that my big push comes from that idea that not everybody knows, but everybody should know. Because if you choose it and it's not for you, that's okay. But if you didn't know it existed, you may have missed out on something that you were born to do. We had our own leadership that were hesitant. It's like, oh, are you sure? Like, we're going to bring in high school students. They outworked our employees. Like, they were so good and so knowledgeable and just so willing to just dive in that I really hope that, you know, this really opens the door to a lot of other organizations to say, hey, what do we have to lose? Let's give this a try. It really opens the door to a lot of other organizations to say, hey, what do we have to lose? Let's give this a try.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So as you saw in the video there, the careers model is simple but super effective. We were established in 1997 as a provincial hybrid government industry education hybrid, or trifecta, if you will. Our model, much like Christine mentioned, is to give students the exposure to industries, to opportunities that they may not otherwise have just through the natural course of their education. So what we do is we engage with industry partners, much like that are involved in this fabulous initiative, and we work with students. We show them what possibilities are out there, and then we are a connector with our industry partners to provide those immersive work integrated learning opportunities where students can, as Nicole mentioned in the video, like it, and it will reinforce their learning, and they will be able to pursue those post-secondary opportunities, or they can determine it's not for them and they can move on to the other thing, both being a really good learning opportunity. So our role in this wonderful project is to engage you, employers, to look at taking on students. Our role is to develop these internship opportunities for you, to make them as most impactful and engaging for students. And we will work based on previous successes and experiences. Aviation being our newest program, only 3 years in existence. We've had tremendous feedback. We've had tremendous support from industry and students. Awareness and excitement around these industries is continuing to grow exponentially. So if you can go to the next slide, that'd be great. Just for some contextual purposes, I mentioned we're a education industry hybrid. We work with students all across the province with our school partners, which are a vital component to this. Students get internships either in the summer or throughout the school year. If they're still in high school, they get credits. The WCB will be covered for employers. And most importantly, they will get that experience, which is going to enrich their career pathway. So we've been on a growth trajectory, which is phenomenal, which is indicative of the support we're getting from industry and industry partners like yourselves. So last year, we provincially have had a really good representation across the province, as you can see. Over 4,500 interns, comprising more than 2,500 industry partners, which is phenomenal. As has been mentioned previously, our mandate is to get underrepresented students and youth into lesser participant occupations, which would be First Nation, Indigenous communities and students, and females into less traditional occupations. And we have found great alignment with Elevate Aviation and the AAC as we are in lockstep on these priorities. So we are continue to be on a growth initiative as we come into summer here, and we anticipate we will be at around 6,000 interns at the end of this summer, which, as mentioned before, is a testament to the industry support that we receive. We can switch to the next one. So what does this look like? As has been explained, this is a training internship experiential learning hybrid opportunity. A QR code here you can see will take you to a form where employers like yourselves can go express interest, give us some details about yourself. I will follow up, or one of my team members, to have that initial discussion. What would this look like? What has been successful in the past? And then we will do our matching of these students going through these programs to make sure that there's that alignment there and that we're sending you just a fantastic student that is interested not only about the industry, but the particular occupation that you identify. So over to Nicole, who'll speak about Heavy Aero's experience in the AV initiative. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane. So yeah, my name is Nicole Holinati. You've heard my voice earlier in this presentation. I'm the Vice Chair of the Alberta Aviation Aerospace Council, but I'm actually speaking to you today as Heavy Aero Maintenance Center, an industry partner who's actually worked with both Elevate and with Careers. I want to share my experiences, share our business experiences with both of these amazing organizations in bringing together youth and getting them up through that experience side and getting that education to get them in the door with business. So Heavy Aero Maintenance Center is an Alberta-based and Alberta-raised business. We work on aircraft maintenance. We do both line and heavy maintenance on aircrafts from the 1900 all the way up to the 737 and higher. So quite a range. We actually have multiple facilities, but we also do structural repairs and avionics work. So we're looking for quite a diverse range of experience, and there's actually a lot of roles that take place behind the scenes to make aircraft maintenance happen. So technical records, stores areas, SMS for safety. There's 101 other careers that exist in aircraft maintenance that aren't exactly even the ones touching the aircraft. And there's tons of opportunities in that area. Heavy Aero alone has hired over 100 staff in the last 18 months to fill up our needs in our business. And we know we're not the only ones in industry who have those labor shortfalls. So with our locations, we're actually spread out quite far as well. So we have our main center here in Calgary that we have our regional base as well as a narrow body facility. Edmonton, we've also expanded into and have a narrow body facility up there as well. But we work across the province in a lot of different ways and across Western Canada. So supporting those labor shortages is a very big deal when we think about transferring people into new locations and cities. And Alberta really can be that spearhead to push all of our industry forward and get all of our youth into and excited about aviation as we continue to grow. So when working with Careers, and like Shane said, they're a wonderful organization to work with. They actually will help you through the entire process of even figuring out where students can be placed. We've actually had lots of students into Heavy Aero, as you saw in the video. We've had them in places such as stores and receiving, administration, technical records. We've been able to take youth and put them into areas where they've actually really truly excelled and done amazing work in the areas that they've been placed in. So far that 90% of our career students actually ended up hired into full-time roles and stayed even after their internships have ended. So we have had tremendous success in this area, just getting some amazing kids that have been pre-vetted with Careers, have gone through that resume process, making sure it's a good fit, and a very large number of those students have actually stayed and pursued post-secondary and become summer students with us because they have gone on to further their careers and continue to expand in the area of aircraft maintenance and in a lot of these other sectors that are supporting aircraft maintenance. And in working with Elevate, of course, nothing but amazing things to say there as well. We've brought in students that have come from the Elevate programs, and not just people that were new to aviation. We've actually brought in students that were Elevate graduates that have come in with tons of aviation experience, but had experience in not necessarily Canada. So they've been working in other countries, and they're coming in to kind of get that basic understanding of, okay, what's different from where I came from to where I'm coming today? So the students that are coming in are not necessarily coming in green either. They have a lot of students that are going through these programs that have touched aviation in a different area and are getting that refresher to get comfortable again. But even in the terms of the students going through the basic programming, it really helps because they're coming in with an understanding of the safety background and that extensive acronym jumbo that we love to call aviation, that there is so much to learn of what is called what. Everyone remembers their first days of aviation where they're like, hey guys, what's the difference between an apron and a taxiway? Or what does AME stand for? We have all been there. So going through that basic program allows them to kind of step their foot in the door and be a little further ahead of the game when they're starting their first day on the job. So those internships, again, highly successful and lead to long-term hiring positions. But all in all, these two working together and Careers helping support internships of graduates coming out of Elevate is just a perfect storm. There is an absolute beauty to that because we need the support in industry, and the problems of our labor shortages of tomorrow are today's problem. We all know that you can't walk into aviation and hit the ground running that quickly. You take years of internships, apprenticeships. There's a lot of learning curves for a lot of these roles. We have to start working on this as an industry today. And you don't have to do it alone. Get in touch with Shane, get in touch with Christine, get in touch with the Alberta Aviation Aerospace Council, because industry needs to start stepping that first foot forward to growing up our labor pools so that those shortages and those numbers continue to shrink and we are strong as Alberta in our labor position.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole, Shane, and Christine, for sharing the insights. Really appreciate that. And this initiative will for sure address the challenge of labor shortage and prepare the future workforce for sure. So, two goals that we want to achieve in this is students will receive the certifications and hands-on training experience with the Alberta-based companies. So, our very own Alberta-based Elevate Aviation and Canadian Council for Aviation and Aerospace. They will be making the trainings and the curriculums, delivering the trainings, and this training will cover both the overview for the programs as well as detailed career-specific courses. The next step would be internship. So as Shane mentioned, this would be fueled by the education and passion for aviation. Students aged between age 16 to 21 are supported by Careers Next Gen. So they will provide 120 hours of paid internship trainings that will connect them with the industry partners and real world aviation business environments that we're going to give them the real time experience. So thank you, everyone. Last but not the least, here is our contact information. Myself, I'm Vaibhav Sharma. I'm the project manager at Alberta Aviation and Aerospace Council. We have Nicole, who is the vice chair for our council, and we have Shane, who is the regional manager for Career Next Gen, and Christine. Christine is there with her team at Elevate Aviation Learning Center, and we would be happy to help and answer any questions you might have. So feel free to scan the code and feel free to reach out to us anytime so that we can help you grow.